everybody. Hello. I said, hi, everybody. Hello. Okay, that's a little better. So my name is Judaea Mazon, but if you really know me, you can call me Miss J, because that's what most of my friends call me. Or if you're my mama, you just call me Jadaeka, depending on what's going on at the time. I mean, I'm scared of her. She can do what she wants to. But I am going to, and the reason I'm trying to lighten up a little is because what I'm about to tell you is very heavy. And just let me go ahead and put a trigger disclaimer. Some of this might be triggering to somebody in the room, and I can't say that I apologize because everything I'm about to say is true, you know. So anyway, what I'm about to tell you is I love you, okay? And that's very important because this is a story of a mother's truth and a son's legacy. Okay? And so I come to you not with statistics or lectures, even though I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing statistic, not only because of what I experienced with my son, but because I'm a single mother, okay? Black woman, okay? Another statistic. High school dropout, that's another statistic. But I also have an MBA, so that's another statistic. So, I mean, I'm a living, breathing statistic. I can go down the line. My children's father was incarcerated most of their life. Okay, a huge statistic, okay? So, but that's not what I'm here to talk about, okay? I come to you with truth, with a story of love, of loss, of injustice. And to the police officers in the room, I love you. I know that all police officers are not bad. I appreciate the work that you do. And I commend all of the good police officers. But I'm not going to apologize for what I'm going to say, okay? And this injustice, this is the story of my son, Anthony Glenn Jr., who I call Peanut, and the legacy he left behind. Anthony was just 15 years old when his life was taken, with a single gunshot to the head before, right after he laid down for a nap. The incident happened May 2nd, 2022. And I had to make a decision. Well, I didn't really have a choice. But I did make a decision on May 4th. So the official date of death is May 4th, 2022. Mother's Day was May 8th, 2022. Okay. His final words to me on May 2nd, 2022 was, I love you. Okay, it was a beautiful day. We had a wonderful day. Oddly, that day was a great day. Looking back, you just never know. That's why you gotta cherish every moment you have with the people you love. But anyway, on May 2nd, 2022, my son, we came in from a meeting that we had. I had something to do, some work to do on a computer. And he said, well, I'm gonna lay down, Mom, I'm gonna take a nap. I had told him I would take him to the store so he can get whatever it was he was asking me for. He was spoiled, and I am okay with that. I spoiled him, I did. But he laid down, he said, okay, I love you. And I said, I love you too, baby. A few minutes later, a knock on the door. Another teenager. Now this happened in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, in the Blackman area, which is supposed to be a an affluent, safe, nothing happens there area, okay? So, got a knock on the door. Little did I know, when I opened the door and let that other teenager in my home, I didn't know he was coming in with a weapon. 2 weapons, actually. 2 guns. He came in, he went in my son's bedroom. I went back to the kitchen, which is like from here to that chair, and a single gunshot. He went in my son's room, put a gun to his head, and shot him. So I go running in there, like immediately after. I thought it was a firecracker, because I was like, what's that? And I go in and find him standing over my son, who is now on the floor, telling him, hey, Anthony, don't go to sleep. Wake up, Anthony. That's how he was saying it to my son. Just to give you a visual of what I experienced, okay? And excuse me if I get a little emotional at some point during this story. So he went in the bedroom, shot my son in the head. I go, and I am trying to aid my son. Of course, I'm in shock and everything, of course. So I push him out the way, and I'm like, what in the, over on my knees on the floor with my son. Although Anthony had been shot in the head, he at that point was still awake. He was still awake. He couldn't talk. He got shot in the forehead, right here. But he couldn't talk, but he could communicate. And the mothers in here know what I mean. You know your baby, okay? You know your child. So while he couldn't talk, he was trying to, but he couldn't, okay? All of a sudden, his eyes get really wide, like that, right? My son jumps up, literally jumps up, gets up off the floor, and fights the boy with the gun at the back of my head. He was getting ready to kill me. My son could see, he could move, he couldn't speak. Okay? So, though Anthony had already been shot, he fought the killer to protect me. Standing between that boy and the gun, he had aimed at the back of my head. That was his final act of love. That was love in motion. First he said, I love you. Then he put those words into action. That was love in motion. But his love didn't end there. I made the choice on May 4th to donate his internal organs because I felt like if, a lot of times us as mothers, as parents, I can speak as a mother of a child who was not perfect, because I never said my son was perfect, but he didn't deserve what he got, okay? Stop saying my child's no angel. Stop. Don't ever say that again. Don't ever say, well, my child ain't no angel. I know my child ain't. Because guess what? My child was an angel. I saw an angel, okay? I saw him leave his body and save my body. I saw it. If I never believed in God before, if I never believed in angels before, as of May 2nd, 2022, I believe angels are real. I believe God is real. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So don't ever say your child is not an angel, because you don't really know if he is or not, or she is or not. You might have to be shown, just like I had to be shown. So anyway, I made the choice to donate his organs. So 2 adults and 5 teenagers across the country were given a second chance because of Anthony. 7 lives, breathing, laughing, growing because of his final gift. That's love walking around. That's my connection. That's a love connection. Okay? But justice, that's where the story changes. The gun that killed my son was taken from the crime scene by the killer. He took the gun that he shot my son with and put another gun there to throw the investigators off, or to throw the police off. The weapon recovered was not the murder weapon. The weapon that was recovered at the scene was not the murder weapon. And we know that because of forensics and ballistics testing. The bullet that was recovered, that ballistics and forensic evidence shows what actually, was the bullet that traveled through my son's head. It went through the wall, through the bedroom, our bedroom wall, or his bedroom wall, through outside, through the privacy fence, and was lodged just at the very, almost piercing, it was just sticking out of the next door neighbor's bedroom wall, right above their headboard. That's where the bullet, that's how far the bullet traveled. So, that bullet that, came from the gun that was left was not the gun that killed my son. That bullet came from a different gun. A truth science proved after the fact. While Anthony was laid in the hospital, after I got to the hospital, the Murfreesboro Police Department, a detective from the Murfreesboro Police Department, asked me to drive to 45 minutes from Monroe Carroll Jr. Vanderbilt down to the Murfreesboro Police Department to come and look at some mug shots of people they suspected as car burglars. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. They wanted me to help them identify suspects from unrelated cases of people I don't even know. My son didn't even know, or didn't know. I mean, we only lived in Murfreesboro less than 11 months. We were only there waiting for our new home to be built. So it wasn't like we're from Murfreesboro. It was a temporary stop. We were renting temporarily while the house I'm in now was being finished. Construction was being finished. So you want me to leave my son, who has been shot in the head and is fighting for his life, you want me to abandon him to come and leave him and come drive 45 minutes to the police department to look at mugshots for some suspected car burglars that have nothing to do with what happened at my house. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna leave that with y'all because it makes me angry. Anyway, while Anthony, while he laid in the hospital, the police asked me to drive 45 minutes to the police station. They wanted me to identify suspected car burglars, people who might have stole a gun, or I don't know why they asked me that. As if those mugshots mattered more than my son's final hours. As if a mother should leave her child's bedside to help solve a separate crime or crimes. That moment, which was just so callous and so racially biased, because that's what it was. And it's not because the boy that killed my son was a privileged white boy with ties to law enforcement in Shelbyville and was able to leave the county that night. Anyway, that's a different story. But it was racially biased, and it was the beginning of a long list of disrespect and dehumanization. Okay? Anthony had never been arrested before. He was never charged with anything before. He had never had any run-ins with any police department ever. He had just turned 15. Just turned 15 in March. This happened in May. He was kind. He was brilliant, but his life was treated as disposable. And the boy who killed him and almost took my life was sentenced to just 6 years of adult probation. And his record will be wiped clean at the end of the 6 years of probation. As if my son never existed. So I speak today not only as Anthony's mother, but as Antasia's mother, which is my only surviving child. I have a daughter. She's 22 now. And together we carry the ache of losing him every day. The grief didn't end with the funeral. The injustice didn't stop with sentencing. We still wake up in a world where my baby and her brother, he's gone. And the killer, he gets to walk around freely as if nothing ever happened. So to every teen listening, you have the power to choose love. You have the power to choose love. You have the power to choose legacy. You have the power to choose justice. You are more than what this world may assume of you, because there were a lot of assumptions made about my son. There are a lot of assumptions being made about my son by people who look like me, and that's sad, okay? But that doesn't have to be your story. You get to change that. You could change that narrative, okay? You are more than what the world may assume of you. You are someone's whole world. So I challenge you to live boldly. I challenge you to love fiercely. I challenge you to be the kind of person that Anthony would have protected. Be that kind of person. Be the kind of person that you would want someone to protect. Because your story is still unfolding. And because someone out there, someone in here, someone loves you enough to fight for you. And that includes me. I'll fight for you. But somebody loves you enough to fight for you. And I just want you to just think about my son the next time you are around a person with a gun or someone's talking about a gun. Think about what could happen and how life could just change in a split second. Thank you for listening. And that's my son. That's Anthony. That's my last. For some reason, I hit a button while we were FaceTiming, and that's the last picture that I have. And he died before Mother's Day. This is the text I got the Mother's Day before. I'll never get another Mother's Day text, but look at what he wrote. I appreciate you for sharing that. I probably did say, could you come over my house? I must have been at work. I probably was not at home. Yeah, I wouldn't have allowed somebody to come and I wasn't home. So yeah, I probably did say no. I probably told him, wait till I get home. But being the spoiled brat that he was, he wanted it right now. And I was like, no.
He used to get mad, like, when you say no, when you had held up the phone, he got mad, he was like, we're up, don't lie to
That's him. That's him. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't think anybody in here would know my son. Any other questions or anything? Well, I thank you all for allowing me to vent, because really that's what I did by sharing my story. Oh, go ahead.
So what are you doing now? I see your shirt, and obviously you're constantly honoring your son, so I'm just curious what you're doing now.
I have started the Mazon Glenn Jr. Purpose, and it's specifically for mothers who, and families, but focusing on mothers, who have lost a minor child to gun violence from another minor child. It's very targeted, very specific. So I know there are other organizations out there. You got, other organizations that deal with grieving mothers. This is very targeted, very specific, to provide workshops, trainings, outreach, and hopefully I want to organize them to push for changes in policy. And this is for mothers who lost a child to gun violence from another team, but I also reach out to the mothers of the children who took the child, not that specific, but mothers who have children, a child has taken a life with gun violence of another child, because they lost a child too. Well, depending on their socioeconomic status and the color of their skin and other things, other factors, but most of them, they lost a child too. So they have to grieve too, just in a different way.
What's the name of your organization?
Mazon Glenn Jr. I literally just started. I have over 30 years of nonprofit, senior level nonprofit executive leadership experience. And for some reason, only a couple of weeks ago, I decided to start my own nonprofit. It's just the weirdest thing. But when God gives you an assignment, when God gives you something, you have to, I got to do what he told me to do. So y'all can start looking for stuff. Stuff will be, coming out and everything. But you can, I meant to give you my info, but if anybody wants to get in touch with me or reach me or anything, I'll be here. Just shout out and I'll just send you my info.
And your email's in the packet.
Oh, I suppose my email is in the packet too. So you can shoot me an email.
It is Glenn Purpose.
The Mazon Glenn Jr. Purpose. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And you can find another round.